Hi, this is Ben Wilson-Smith. I'm back after a recent heart attack and minor stroke, which is not my first, so it's okay. I want to talk about the idea of white or any type of privilege. There was a wonderful phrase once, which was, if anything was beyond your grasp, then why reach for heaven? And now I find people are reaching for, low lying fruit. I think almost that could be the Western world described as just picking low level fruit, whereas where you want to actually exceed your grasp. Now, I can no more do that than anyone else, but I can keep the idea in my head. And as Oscar Wilde said, the Oxford manner is in fact the idea to play gracefully with that which is in your head and ideas. So I'm sorry if I don't look quite as good as normal, but that's part of life, part of death even. But I can't understand why we still have so many people who are afraid to say things. Recently, and you can watch this on Forbes' YouTube channel, the deans of Harvard and MIT were actually put under oath and then asked if it was okay for their students to call for mass genocide. And they kept saying, it depends on the context. It depends on the context. That was the only answer both of them gave. And they said, well, if it were carried out, then we'd expel the student, which is like, okay, so if someone says they want to murder someone else, then that's acceptable. But if they go and murder that person, then after the fact, you'll do something about it. There's no police force in the world that works that way. There's no intelligence service. There's no government service. There's nothing that works that way except universities. And, what I think one was asked 13 times a yes or no question and refused to answer it with yes or no, having sworn under oath that they would answer the questions under yes or no. One is, ironically and quite comically cool, she's a black lady, I'd say about my age, and she's the dean of Harvard. So she runs Harvard. And she kept saying, well, it depends on context. Well, everything depends on context. No, mass genocide doesn't depend on context. Because if you threw it around and said, okay, our students are going to start protesting to kill all black people or all white people, you'd have a very different answer from the same person. But unfortunately, she lied in front of Congress, which means she won't keep her job for very long, which is funny because her name's Dr. Gay. As a female black woman, you couldn't ask for a more amusing name. But hopefully she'll be the next Bond villain. So stop with the madness of not saying yes or no, because it's quite important in this world that you can hold your beliefs and you can stand up for them, and you're not literally reading from a lawyer's script, because otherwise, who are you? What's your character? What do you mean? And why should anyone listen to you? So that's my feelings on that particular issue. I'll be back with more later. It's good to be back.